Hi, Christy here. I'm in my Akashic Records, and I thought I would start the exploration today with hedges and boundaries. In my last video, someone commented, and I believe English is not her first language, but she commented that she looked up the word hedges and discovered kind of what hedges are like in terms of them being something you plant on your property to separate, to create boundaries and so on. And I started thinking about that word. I do love words. And I thought it was really interesting that we talk about hedges as these separations. And to be clear, they're not like walls. They're decorative. They're alive because they're made out of plants. They're not impermeable. Like wind can, if they're not too tightly packed, wind can flow through. Sometimes you can cut through a hedge even to get to the other side. Oftentimes they're not even that high. They're sort of a symbolic separation, kind of polite boundaries, if you will, not super overt, but just sort of delineating where things are. So I started thinking about the hedge idea, and then I thought, what about when we're hedging our bets? Or what about hedge funds? Like there's a bunch of ways in which that word is used, which is so typical of English. But it's very funny to me to think of hedging your bets as being, well, I'm not really sure which way it's going to go. So I've got one foot in one camp and I've got one foot in another camp, and I'm sort of not going to take a complete loss if it goes one way or the other. Again, this is sort of this idea of there being some permeability, some flexibility, some chance that it's not going to be exactly what we expect. So to me, it's a little bit of a hedge between black and white. It's going to be completely this way, it's going to be completely that way. If we're not really sure, we may think, oh, it's going to be somewhere in the middle. Or we may think, well, in case it's over here, I'm going to be over here. And in case it's over here, I'm going to be over here. And from an investment perspective, that's part of the idea of diversifying so that you don't have all your eggs in one basket, if you like that cliche. So I'm really thinking about this idea of, it's sort of a commitment idea in one way. When you're hedging, you're not committing one way or the other, but perhaps you're committing to yourself to explore, maybe it'll be this way and maybe it'll be that way. When I worked at IBM, I was interested in moving to a new job. And I had two jobs I was looking at strongly. One of them had given me an offer, and the other one I was very interested in had not given me an offer. So I was debating whether to wait to get an offer from the second one or just take the first one. Because bird in the hand, right? Well, come to find out that for me to get the second offer, the guy who had the job currently needed to get another job. And the job he wanted was my first job that I had the offer. So I was in a bit of a conundrum here. Like, I have to decline the first one in order to free up the second one, and then presumably we'll get an offer for the second one that I can take. So it's a little bit of a risk. I mean, I did it and it all worked out. I did get the second one. The first guy took the job that I declined. But that's kind of that thing of like bird in the hand. Do I trust that I'm really going to get this offer over here? I decided that I would. So there's definitely in these decisions some trust involved, which is interesting when I'm thinking about this because, you've got the boundary issue, you've got commitment concerns, you've got trust things that can come up. And so these are all themes that are possible on our soul's journey. And here they are intersecting. If I trusted that they would give me that offer and declined the first one and they did not give me that offer, that can undermine my trust of myself. Like, ooh, I apparently don't make good judgments. Undermine my trust of them. Oh, these people aren't trustworthy, and I can't trust myself to decide who is trustworthy. Oh my goodness, it can be very complicated. Or it could just be like, all right, that's just not that significant. It means I'm going to have to look for something else, which could have been another interesting outcome. Like, what if nothing at IBM resonated with me way back then? Where might I have ended up instead of where I did? It's always very fascinating. I'm sure I've talked about before the movie Sliding Doors, where there's two different scenarios depending on whether the person caught the subway. I think it was the subway, the tube, I think in London. So it's pretty interesting to me to remind myself, first of all, that if something passes us by, something else is going to come along. Like they're showing me the sushi. I've never been to a sushi restaurant, but the sushi bar where different items of sushi come around on the conveyor belt. And if you don't pick it, then something else is going to come around that you're going to pick instead. And then we're never off our path. So it's not like we're going to be, suddenly getting a hamburger on the sushi line. It's going to be something that's right for us, that's perfect for us in that particular context. All right, so I'd love to hear in the comments below what you think about hedging and trust. If you're hedging your bet, I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. Are you not trusting, or are you trusting that it'll work out one way or the other? You're just playing the odds, if you will, which is, in investments, probably a good idea. All right, any old comment in the comment below on any of this, if it interests you, I would love to hear. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And in the meantime, please go be brilliant.